Hello, welcome. My name is Dat Ed. If you don't know me, now you know me. So today we are going to be talking about pgLang. What is pgLang? Well, pgLang is a multimedia company made by Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free. These two gentlemen collaborated a lot, okay? So far, they have been making, mostly from what I've seen on their YouTube channel, Calvin Klein ads and other advertisements, but like for Cash App and stuff like that. But also, they've been recording music videos for their new artist, Tana Leone, which is signed to their label, and just a few other things to name. But we will be talking about all of that because if you saw by the title, we're gonna figure out why are pgLang videos so creepy. We're gonna find out. I might be talking for a while too. So strap in, eat some snacks, all kinds of stuff like that. You already know what the deal is. You clicked on this video, so be prepared. Let's just get into it. Point number one. Who's directing these visuals? Is organizing these visuals? Of course, as I just said, Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar are the two main directors of each video. Who are these people? So Kendrick, obviously, probably the greatest rapper by many people's opinions. He's also not just a rapper, but also a visual person, very much an artist. He likes to make very creative visuals, as you have seen multiple times. But you already probably know who Kendrick is. But what about Dave Free? From what I've got, Dave Free, he has been directing videos for Kendrick Lamar since his Good Kid, Mad City album, with Kendrick being part of it as well. Dave Free has been with Kendrick for a majority of his mainstream career. Let's move on to the next point. What is being directed in this video? What is in the video itself? It's basically an array of things. It could be miscellaneous, people, and this is probably the shortest segment because I think you know what's in the video most of the time. But the next point is, what is used in the production process, like props? We're just trying to analyze what's in the video. Most of the time, in the videos, let's take the pgLang promotion tape. If you've seen that video, there is mainly three things that I have caught in a pattern. One, a person. Hardly is there ever multiple people. Never see more than one person. Sometimes there's exceptions, like in the Family Ties at the beginning, but towards the end is when it changes. You'll see 1 to 2 people maximum. Then there's also a large abundance of space and objects. And then the third thing, a background, usually blank. Now, what's being used in the editing of this video? What is being used in the post-production process? It's always a large amount of grain. I'm assuming they usually, from the YouTube settings, they usually use 4K cameras. I mean, it's Kendrick, he has the money to do so. And if you've seen a lot of 4K, you could even see on this camera I'm using. Do you see a lot of grain? Maybe some of that is added into the video. I don't know. And another thing, usually in editing, the color scheme, whether it's to brighten it, to darken it, like there's definitely an increase in saturation in some of these visuals, I can tell. Hardly do I ever see CGI being used, except for like in the No Sense music video. That's the only time I've ever seen CGI being used as of late. How is it marketed? What's being put in the videos? Which also lines in with the second quote I have. How is the tone for these videos set? They're marketed as like an off-putting vibe. Whether it is a lack of music, it's just straight up silence, or light noise in the background like cars passing by or a cityscape. But in a lot of their advertisements, like Calvin Klein for instance, most of the Calvin Klein ads, no sound at all. For instance, let's just say the Calvin Klein ad where like Taco from Odd Future has his jeans, his favorite pair of jeans on a billboard. In that video, there's no background music. It's just noise from below the billboard. I'm assuming cars passing by, and then also Taco talking.
Look, I could look better considering how much they pay me for it, but I mean, dude, I'm gonna take home the money and what they gonna do? Beat me up? No, I mean, I put a lot of me into it.
But let's go to music videos. The choice of music, which I think is also a strategic process for Kendrick, Baby Keem, and Dave. They choose certain songs. The visuals complement the music. The tone set is mostly the music choice. They'll just use a lot of like uneasy sounding music or ominous music. Most of the time that's what they'll use. So the tone is set by just what song could give the most emotion. Now let's move on to how is it being directed. This is where the creepy part starts to set in, because most of the time they're directed to be, there's only one person, 1 to 2 people in this wide open space. Especially Rich Spirit, this picture. For instance, there is no other furniture besides maybe a couple chairs and a table in the background, but it's covered by darkness. The rest of the house is dark, but there's only a little bit of light shining on the person. And then also, let's talk about the movements and stuff like that. The choreography, for instance, like in Family Ties. When there is a lot of people, there is usually one of two things: moving a lot, or not moving, standing still, completely still. And if the person in the video or in the frame is moving, they're moving in a weird way, or they're moving in a more nonchalant or just like a very unbothered way. Now, let's go to why is it done this way? This is where I'm going to start to get a little bit conspiracy-ish. This is my opinion and my theory on why these videos are directed in this weird, ominous, open space vibe. What's up with that? So number one, I think it's done this way to signify loneliness, an eerie place of belonging. Because in a lot of videos, especially Kendrick's videos, Kendrick is usually by himself, especially Count Me Out and Rich Spirit. And I think Kendrick is putting that aspect in his videos because you've seen from Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, this is an album about him. It's analyzing him. And he's also said multiple times he's been living in a valley of silence. He's been living in solitude. That's why he's alone all the time. And I think he also does this too. If you were to put yourself in the person in the video's shoes, just sitting in a dark room, you would feel very alone. You would probably be very dreadful. You would feel very dreadful about your life. These videos are directed that way to really give you the vibe that things aren't right. Or, in the second point, it's going to convey a feeling of relatability to this person. Because in Kendrick's case, he says, I'm not your savior, he's just a person like everybody else. That's why I think there's so many empty spaces, to give you the idea that this person is just as lonely as you are, or is just as troubled as you are. That's why he's in blank spaces. That's why he's not around expensive things most of the time. Or it could also be conveying the person's emotion, the person's mental state. Whoever's in the video, the visuals around them or the visuals of them themselves is going to convey their emotions, how they're feeling at the current moment. Like in Count Me Out, black and white scenery, all these different scenes, like him being surrounded by people, what he's wearing, the trauma associated with the red he's wearing, the people around him praising his name, facial expressions, everything about the video, including the color scheme and the way that the color is set up and the filters, can convey his emotions, how he feels about himself. When are these visuals being made? These visuals are usually being made between the very brightest times of the day, the latest of night, like during midnight or very dark hours, or during the very late hours of the evening when it's sunset. Now, what is the fourth thing? This might be a little creepy to some people. I was talking about this all night last night to myself, and it was freaking me out. It could also be conveying the person's soul. This mostly has to do with Kendrick, but the main thing I'm going to be talking about is Rich Spirit, and it has to do with Kendrick's eyes. There's this one specific scene where Kendrick is lifeless on the ground. He's sitting on a red carpet, just laying on the ground. I'll show it right here. His finger is slowly tapping on the floor. Now, I forgot what some people have prophesized or assumed that this was representing, but I was paying attention to Kendrick's face the entire time. And I was thinking to myself, in this video, he's talking about rich inward, broke phone. Does that also mean his soul is broken too? Because in the video, he's either lifeless or he's moving erratically, moving his head on beat like that. And in that one frame of him laying on the floor, that visual is the scariest thing I have ever seen in a long time. It's because of how much he's not moving. It's showing you how his mental state is deteriorating because of how separated he is from society, of how disconnected he is. His face always stays stationary the entire time. He doesn't ever convey full-on emotion. But let me get to why I'm talking about his eyes. The creepiness has to do with the lack of light in his eyes. Now, I've had this theory for the longest time, and I've thought to myself, humans are the creepiest when there is no light in their eyes. When no light is reflecting off your pupils, and this is very common for people with black or dark eyes. Like me, for instance, I have dark brown eyes. Here's an example. Kendrick's eyes, there's no light on them. His body is lifeless. What is associated with lifeless bodies? Dead people. Because if you've seen a dead person's eyes, there's nothing reflecting off of them. That person does not have a soul anymore. I've always prophesized that the light reflecting in your eyes is your soul personified into your eye. So, does that mean Kendrick's life has gone to utter crap? And now his body is lifeless on the floor and he has no soul? He has all the riches but no soul to speak of. You kind of understand what I'm trying to say? I hope you are understanding. Here's another example of just an eye without light in it. Tell me that isn't terrifying. Is that not creepy to you? Very unsettling just looking at it. And not to mention, Kendrick is also in a dark room. If you were to like expand that image a little bit outward of just Kendrick laying lifeless on the ground, I could just imagine a ghost or some demon just crawling in the background towards Kendrick. I could just imagine that. And the fact that it's so empty in all these rooms and all these frames, it gives the illusion of like haunted, or something's gonna come in and jump scare you. If you were to put yourself in that situation, you would be crying your eyes out, because I would not want to be around nothing. Nothing is scary. Having nothing around you, being lonely, is terrifying. I think Kendrick and Dave know that. It's just very good directing skills. It's very artistic. It's very purposeful, and I like it. In conclusion, pgLang, they got some creepy visuals, but it's interesting because I've never seen music videos except for like Solange's videos where there are a lot of people or just one person. I think they have a lot in common. I just love how it keeps me glued to the screen because the visuals are so plain that something's gonna happen. It's the anticipation, it's the blankness of it all that just makes me wonder why. Life is scary. And I think these videos symbolize how scary normal life is. I think some of their inspiration comes from the backrooms as well. I believe that because the uncanniness of an empty place that's nostalgic can be all the more just shivery. Now I know this video is probably gonna be all over the place, but that is my thoughts on why pgLang videos are so creepy. The presentation, how is it made? Why is it being used this way? Everything about these videos is so weird. I think these video formats are the easiest way to convey a message to viewers. But y'all tell me what y'all think though. This video is kind of long and I'm probably gonna edit a lot of this out, but regardless, tell me if y'all like this kind of essay stuff. I'm probably gonna keep doing it too. If y'all like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe. I've got a lot of videos on my channel, y'all, and I'm very underrated, I think. As always, stay creative, y'all. I'll see y'all later. I'm better. I'm better.